And we are live. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world, and welcome to another edition of New York Street Magic, the Elwad Mage venue. With the impending strike on, well, whoever it is that has her sister captured, Maggie Cosma has been getting her affairs in order. And as she sits in the chantry today, she's sitting with a just a straight up hookah filled with copious amount of weed, and a large bag of some of that grass sits right by it as she seems to be holding the pipe in between her teeth as she writes in a leather-bound book, one of two.
Jesus. This whole room smells like weed now.
Why are you complaining?
I don't know. Weed's not my thing.
Of all the things to not be your thing,
I mean,
weed.
shit. I don't really do heroin or any of that either.
Don't you kind of by proxy?
It's complicated.
So how are things going with the whole dark ending to the world thing?
Indeterminate right now. Maybe it gets worse. Maybe it doesn't.
Well, what kind of headway have you made?
We know there is something bad and have a relative idea of where it is.
And where is this relatively bad thing, relatively speaking?
Probably the Natural History Museum.
I was just there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, you were like the epicenter of a cannibal holocaust, so good job not getting eaten, I guess.
Yeah. I finally got to meet with some of my people.
It's a fucked up place to meet. Like right in the middle of some shit going. Never fucking understand trad mages.
You were a trad mage.
And then I got kicked out. There are philosophical differences, deep ones.
Philosophical, maybe religious. Your master thought she was God and you disagreed?
Something like that.
So, what do you know about Cairo?
It is a city in Egypt.
It is that. That is my next destination.
No shit. You end up
Yeah,
owing somebody a favor too?
something like that, I guess.
God, I gotta fly like fucking 12 hours soon.
Where are you headed?
Okinawa.
Of all places, why there?
I owe a guy a favor. I guess he owed somebody else, so therefore I owed somebody else a favor. So I get to go teach some kids who've never touched a gun in their lives how to shoot straight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I made a deal with Chakravanti, they've got a room set up for Macy. I might be burning 2 or 3 years out of my life, provided that Garrett and I can get her out of the fire, so to speak.
Saw him recently.
What did he have to say?
Same old glowering Norman Reedus shit.
I really don't get the resemblance. I mean, a little bit like that Lady Gaga video, but Walking Dead? Nah.
Oh yeah, totally. The fucking leather jacket's what cinches it. It's okay, he doesn't get it either.
Look, the stuff that's going down in a few days, it's going to be heavy.
I gathered that.
It's in the spirit lands, and they're there. They have her. It's going to be... Well, it's going to be something.
Probably will, man.
I haven't told Garrett, but I don't think I'm coming back from this one.
Want to see something?
Sure.
Come on.
Maggie will stand up.
Catherine leads Maggie down through a series of hallways until finally they get to a particular door. She looks over her shoulder and says, "Hold on to my jacket."
Maggie grabs a hold of his jacket, or her jacket.
It's up in the air, really. Don't let go till I tell you to.
Ominous.
She opens the door, and it doesn't look like they're really traveling into a lit room. But sooner than anyone could really perceive, once they go through, they find themselves standing in what for all the world looks like an overcast, completely barren field, surrounded by nothing but swords stuck in the dirt. Off in the distance, a pair of nonsensical gears turn, partially obscured by a mountainside. You can let go now.
She lets go. Interesting.
You're the only person I ever took here.
Really?
Yeah. Sure, Taylor would have a field day with some of these fucking things, but it's not what this place is about.
What is this place about?
What you and me do.
Suffer endlessly? Kill people?
Look at this field. Nothing grows here. It's just a bunch of sand, dirt, and rocks.
Mhm.
And all these fucking swords. The weapons we wield, the causes we wield them for, they outlast us. But we do this shit so much we forget that we're destroying everything in our wake. All that's left is this fucking dirt field afterwards. And a marker where we gouged ourselves into the earth. Maggie, I ain't been me since my first kill. And I know that. It's not whether or not we came back. We never came back at all. Us the people who went there. Everybody else is just fucking fooling themselves.
It's one way to look at it, I guess.
Problem with fooling yourself about things like that is it distracts you from the mission. Put that shit out of your head.
No can do this time. I got too much staked up in it now. I'm finally at a point in my lifetime where I know the things that I want, and they're right there for the taking. But there's always that one last thing to do. And Rose's prophecy that I am meant to suffer until I die, it has, well, it's been true. In fact, it's the one solid truth I have in my life right now.
Maggie, all lives have suffering.
So says the Buddhist.
Hasn't stopped being true, has it?
Well, when you make generalized terms like that, yeah, kind of hard to be wrong.
Kinda hard to be wrong. So hey, just a fact of the universe. Not that big a problem in the bigger picture.
Well,
See? Off your shoulders. Not anything you were doing wrong.
yeah. Some could say that. Others could say Keith was showing off to be chivalrous. And that's why he ended up shot.
Keith ended up shot because a dude shot him.
He could have let things go. He could have let that cop feel me up, and we would have been done with it.
But he didn't. And then the cop made the decision to shoot him.
Yeah.
That ain't on you.
Leah was at the hospital there to protect me.
So was I. We walked into a gunfight. Not everybody walks out of them. She made that choice. So did I. That's on us.
And then I made a choice to go see what a monster was for myself. Now my mom, my brother, my dad, more than likely, all dead. My oldest sister has been locked up for months inside this chantry. And my sister has been in captivity and horribly tortured for the past 6 months.
You know, you're making trying to console you really fucking hard, Maggie. I've like tried 6 different tactics right now.
I appreciate the effort.
Once a monk, always a monk, I guess.
But there's been positives, right?
Yeah. I mean, hell, your sister's well on the road to becoming a super assassin who will never want for money.
Yeah.
So there's that.
We managed to end Rose's suffering.
We killed some technocrats.
Got a lot of technocrats.
Rooted out a weird quasi-nephandic cult.
Prevented a chantry full of useless mages from being overrun by the technocracy.
We fought a giant robot dragon.
We became rodents.
We became rodents. Listen, I don't blame you for doing what you gotta do. And I especially don't blame you for planning to flee from this fuckhole. Me sticking it out here is on me. Now, if you need a greater reason to come back in spite of your doubts on the matter, do you really want your little sister to be stuck as my pupil? Is that a future you want to live in? Because I can already tell you her eyeliner game, not on point.
The Chakravanti have already agreed to take them in.
Well, the Chakravanti are going to have to chaka fucking deal with me.
I don't want to put the burden of my family on you. Besides, if you make it out of this city alive, you're going to be in demand wherever you go. People are going to learn from you. At that point, Maggie sits down on a rock and looks out over the field. Just like I did. And she pulls out from her bag a wine bottle, 2 glasses. And that wine bottle has a very familiar label on it.
Catherine sits down next to Maggie.
And she pours 2 glasses, hands one over to him.
She takes it.
Last time I drank this brand, you knocked the bottle over for spite.
Yes, I did.
At that point, we were at each other's throats.
To be fair, I was at pretty much everybody's throat but Tommy.
Well, she was pretty likable.
She was.
It's been almost 2 years. At this point, you and I are just about as inseparable as two cabal mates can be without being involved. And Naomi can stand to be in the same room and carry on a pleasant conversation with me.
She's like that when she wants to be.
Things have changed.
They always do.
That wheel never stops turning.
So far. But hey, we could get unlucky and whatever's going on with the fucking Natural History Museum, which, as far as I'm concerned, is probably going to end in tears. Fuck it. We both know I'm going to die before I let that shit happen.
I spent the last 2 days inside my realm, pushing myself as closely as I could to that one end, the button, the button. Getting myself ready for what I know is going to be a fight that's probably going to require that.
What, did you run out of those knives you're so fond of?
I've got some of them left. But I've seen the way those things fight. I've seen them bleed acid.
Pick your shots. Go for the objective.
Well, that's my point. That's just kind of what I'm getting at. I know what Garrett's going to do if I go in with a full head of steam. I've just got to be quick enough that he doesn't have a choice in the matter.
Oh, he's a pretty bright guy.
Yeah, but he lets his guard down enough around me.
My point is, listen to him.
That's good advice. Really good advice. But we both know that he would die to keep me alive.
And you're sitting here talking to me about how you'd die to keep him alive.
If I can keep him alive, he can get my sister out. I can take care of all of them in one shot.
And suddenly, I am a prophet. And Catherine takes on this very serious, almost glowery little expression. If I can save her, she can get her sister out. Move out of this shithole without me. Based thinking about it right now.
Probably. I don't know. It's not like that's what I'm going in there to do. It's just that gut feeling that tells me that's what it's going to take.
Well, I've been in a lot of fights. My best advice to you is that shit's not over till it's over. Going in there already thinking about it being over is just a good way to make it that way. So before you two do the weird, fatalist, tragic love mambo all over each other and end up in a fucking Three Stooges style kamikaze attack, at least try to exercise some persistence and tactical awareness.
She looks over at him with a smile as she takes a drink out of her cup. Something I can do is that.
All I could ever ask.
If we somehow end up making it out of all this, provided you don't die at the world's ending, I've always kind of fancied the idea of a farm away from everything.
Typically more of a city girl. But I'll
Try
Skype
to
you.
kind of think of it as a burnt out magi retreat.
I'll think about it. For all I know, this trip up to fucking Oki is a soft intro for me getting sent somewhere.
Maybe. Maybe you're up for a promotion.
I'm already a queen. What are they going to make me, an empress?
Maybe. Maybe they'll actually give you a crown.
Empress love child. Ugh.
Bitch, you know you love it.
Catherine rolls her eyes.
I thought about having this conversation with Taylor, but the only thing I think that would come of that is her wanting to get involved.
Probably. You should have seen her when I came back from the dead. Didn't stop crying for days.
Yeah, about that.
I'm not a zombie. I'm not a Quaid Jinn. Not a vampire.
That's not where I was going with that, but good to know.
Sorry, I punked out in the middle of the mission, though.
You did me a concern.
Fuck, you were concerned. I was concerned. It's not like I was going full on Team 4-star thinking it would be a real dick move to die right now.
Maybe that's your promotion. Super Common Catherine.
If it's not, I'm going to demand that it is.
I am the only deacon of this chantry now. I could just make that your official title.
I'm good.
So, a few things I need to let you know about. I'm leaving half of everything I've got to Megan if things go bad, and Macy if we manage to get her out. The other half, I want you to divide out among you and the rest of the chantry equitably.
I can do that.
Except Scott. Scott gets nothing.
What is your deal with Scott? He's a teddy bear.
She takes a really long drink until there's nothing left in the glass. She lets out a sigh. Because fuck that guy, that's why.
Oh my god.
But when I'm gone, one way or the other, you're going to be deacon of this chantry.
Pretty much. Sure, Luke will have some kind of aneurysm. It'll be great.
Do me a favor and don't tell any of them about this.
I can keep it to myself. I gotta head down to the city.
Really? Because I had one last question for you.
That being?
Tell me about who you were before you were Ken. I saw your parents' gravestone, and I've always been curious about that.
I was just some guy. Nothing special. Did the whole shtick. Got through high school, went to college, got a really fancy philosophy degree that meant jack shit, worked in a warehouse. Spent a lot of my off time pretending I knew about martial arts.
What happened to your parents?
Cancer.
Both of them.
Lifelong smokers.
And how did you get mixed up in all of this?
Took a baseball bat to the dome. It was a really bad hit. But Thanks to the old man, I came right on back from it. I'd like to tell some story about how I totally whipped my attackers' asses, but they'd already fucked off. Turns out that fucking genius with the Louisville Slugger didn't figure beating me in the fucking head would do anything that serious. So they panicked and ran off, and by the time that all the bones reformed and all that good shit, I was pretty much alone. I fucking wandered around aimlessly for the longest time, just trying to live my fucking life. 6 months, dude.
So you are a disparate to start with.
Yeah, guess I was.
Alright then. One last thing.
Yeah.
When I was in my coma, you and I, we didn't get along.
We didn't.
You thought I was a monster.
Something along those lines.
And yet, my mom told me you were the only one that came every day.
Pretty much.
Why?
Your cabal. If I didn't give a shit, I wouldn't have spent so much time yelling at you.
So then what was the thing that changed everything? How'd we get there to being here?
You stopped acting like a jackass.
Just that simple.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not everything's worth some big ass rant from me. Sometimes it's just that.
Good to know then. Anything you ever wanted to know on my end?
Before I ended up with you guys, I get why you did what you did, like how that all turned out, but how do you end up with Tommy?
Mainly through Rupert. Rupert was the one that took us all in. And I was learning from him at the time. Which hopefully can help explain a few things.
The ever mysterious Rupert.
One of the most irresponsible magic practitioners I've ever met.
That explains a lot.
One of my first lessons from him was him using the Mind Sphere to cause a giant public orgy.
That explains everything. Holy shit. No wonder the technocrats showed up out of the fucking ether and pushed our shit in.
To be fair, it was to prevent a rock concert from going into a full-on bloodbath.
I guess. I wasn't there.
I saw a guy get eaten. Like, literally swallowed in one gulp.
That's fucked up.
It really was. I think it was one of the fair folk.
Ugh, brain parasites.
He went all weird.
You know, I heard it's not just contact. Like, Naomi says they can just do things without even laying a hand on you.
I don't know. My last real involvement with any of them was a pretty pleasant experience for me. Up
Well,
until she died.
just keep some hand sanitizer on you just in case.
They're not all bad.
Yeah, but do you really want to get infected?
Some of them, I would imagine a fair few of them probably do worry about things like consent. Brandy did. Julian did.
Why does that name sound familiar to me? Eh. Oh well.
She'll stand up. I thought about seeing Naomi before this all happened, but I don't think she would do particularly well with all of this. Or at least it would make her uncomfortable.
Possibly.
But
Maggie talking to me and talking to her are pretty similar by proxy. You may as well go see her in person.
I wouldn't. I don't want to mess up what we have. I just want her to know how thankful I am that she was a part of my life.
Well, from my ears to her cerebral cortex,
Without her, I would have been a monster.
we're both glad you didn't end up that way.
After tonight, after tonight, this is and Maggie just kind of doesn't really finish the sentence. He just holds out her hand.
Catherine gets up and takes Maggie's hand. We've got an
She'll
extra
do.
police shotgun. A lot of shells. Got off a dead guy.
Every little bit helps.
Feel free to, big air quotes here, borrow that extra shoddy. And frankly, buckshot's cheap.
And she'll pull Catherine in for the handshake hug.
Catherine's more than down for that.
I'll make the effort, but you try not to die as well.
I will do my best. Scout's honor.
I want to meet again in 10 years, and I want you to sit there and bitch at me for how sappy I was just now.
I will be sure to prepare whatever appropriate passports and bus tickets that I need, depending on inflation. 10 years to come and personally bitch at you. And hopefully I'll still be this pretty.
Well, you're a life mage now, so it shouldn't be a problem, unless you decide to slack off.
You're probably right.
And with that, Maggie heads towards the door, assuming there is one.
There is not. And Maggie realizes the sole purpose of there not being a physical door is so that Catherine can show off. Because they do the entire shtick with the jacket again. And Catherine takes the I Dream of Jeannie pose and snaps her fingers. And they are outside the door.
Maggie just shakes her head and smiles.
And as Catherine goes down the hall, Maggie can hear her going da 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 da.
Maggie smiles and will pull one of the leather-bound books out from her bag, and she will leave it on one of the small tables by Ken's door. And then she will go and start to gather her things. And that will be, I believe, the end of our scene. Thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching.